Hey there, my fellow anglers and fishing fanatics. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your fishing buddy, here to break down what we can expect on the water this coming October 9th, 2025. And let me tell you, friends, this isn't just any ordinary autumn's day. The conditions shaping up for the Midwest USA are setting the stage for what could be an absolutely fantastic day on the water, but with some crucial nuances you'll want to pay close attention to. We're looking at a classic fall feeding frenzy, with fish actively bulking up for winter, so if you play your cards right, you could be in for some serious action. Stick around because I've got all the juicy details to help you make the most of this day, from what species to target to the exact lures you'll want tied on. Let's dive right into the main event, what's biting and how to catch 'em. For the Midwest on October 9th, we're focusing on three of my fall favorites: largemouth bass, walleye, and crappie. First up, largemouth bass. These guys are going to be on the prowl. As the water temperatures settle into that mid-50s to low 60s Fahrenheit range, bass follow the baitfish, especially shad, into shallower coves, creeks, and along weed lines. Look for them in depths of 2 to 10 feet, particularly near any remaining green weed edges, submerged timber, or rocky points that offer ambush opportunities. My go-to tackle would be a medium-heavy spinning or casting rod. For lures, try spinnerbaits with larger blades in chartreuse or white to imitate shad, or squarebill crankbaits in shad patterns. If the bite is a bit slower, a jig and plastic trailer worked slowly around structure will get their attention. Remember, in fall, they prefer a bigger meal, so don't be shy with your bait size. Next, the elusive walleye. Fall is prime time for trophy walleye, and they'll be feasting aggressively. You'll find them in a couple of key areas. One, relatively shallow, along the edges of decaying weed beds where baitfish are losing their cover. Two, on deep humps or channel edges, especially if there's some current or structure. I'd be looking at depths from 5 to 25 feet, depending on the specific lake's turnover status. For tackle, a medium-light to medium-heavy spinning setup is ideal. My absolute favorite for fall walleye is a fireball jig tipped with a 5-inch or even larger redtail chub. Slowly lift and drop it, letting that chub do its dance. Alternatively, crankbaits trolled along deeper breaks can be incredibly effective, especially if you're covering larger areas. And finally, for a cooler full of delicious fillets, let's talk crappie. And many folks think spring is crappie season, but fall can be even better. These panfish will be schooling up and aggressively feeding. Look for them suspending around brush piles, docks, submerged timber, and especially in coves where shad have moved. Depths from 8 to 15 feet are often productive. A light action spinning rod with 4-pound test line is perfect. For presentation, vertical jigging with small jigs, think 1/16 or 1/32 ounce, tipped with a small plastic grub or a live minnow will be deadly. Slip bobbers with minnows are also fantastic for presenting bait at a precise depth when crappie are suspended. Find those schools with your electronics and you could be in for an epic day. Now let's break down the conditions shaping this day, because understanding why is just as important as knowing what. Weather-wise. For the Midwest on October 9th, 2025, we're looking at typical early October temperatures. Highs will likely be in the upper 50 to low 60 Fahrenheit range, with overnight lows dipping into the low 40s. The forecast suggests a mix of conditions, with possibilities of some rain, but generally, October in the Midwest tends to be cooler and drier than normal. We might see some gusty winds, which can be a double-edged sword. It can activate some bites on wind-blown points, but also make boat control tricky. Atmospheric pressure might be on a bit of a roller coaster, with fronts moving through, which can sometimes make fish finicky initially, but often triggers a strong bite once it stabilizes. Water temperatures. In the Midwest's larger lakes, like Lake Michigan, will be hovering around the upper 50s to low 60s Fahrenheit. Smaller lakes and rivers might be a touch cooler. This temperature range is absolutely fantastic for fall fishing. It signifies that the water has cooled enough to trigger that intense pre-winter feeding, but isn't so cold that fish become sluggish. Fish's metabolism is still high, meaning they're hungry and actively chasing bait. As the day progresses, if the sun breaks through, shallower areas might warm slightly, potentially drawing fish up. As for the moon phase, on October 9th, 2025, we have a waning gibbous moon with about 91 to 92% illumination. This is 2 days past the full hunter's moon, which occurred on October 7th. Many anglers believe that the days immediately following a full moon can be excellent for fishing, as fish have had a few days of bright moonlight to feed actively at night and are now settling back into a more regular daytime feeding pattern. The moon will be in Taurus. Overall, the general activity of fish in the Midwest for this time of year is excellent. Most predatory species are in full-on feeding mode, bulking up for the leaner winter months. They are less focused on spawning and more on consuming as much as possible. However, be mindful of lake turnover in smaller bodies of water. If a lake is actively turning over, the bite can be tough for a few days. Generally, though, this is a period of high activity for species like bass, walleye, and crappie. Considering all these factors, favorable water temperatures, the post-full moon effect, and the seasonal feeding patterns, my assessment for October 9th, 2025, in the Midwest is a one good to very good to bite. It won't be effortless, as shifting pressures and potential gusty winds can create pockets of caprice, but the overall drive for fish to feed should ensure consistent action for those who are adaptable and persistent. The key is to cover water, locate those bait fish, and present bigger, more appealing meals. So, my friends, that's my take on October 9th, 2025. I'm telling you, this is shaping up to be a prime time to be on the water. I wish you all tight lines and nothing but fish scales. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of my forecasts and tips. And tell me in the comments below, what are your plans for fishing this week? What's your favorite fall lure? I love hearing your stories and insights.